You are lying in bed at 2 a.m., eyes closed and utterly exhausted. You should be asleep, but your brain is wide awake, replaying a conversation from 10 years ago, or perhaps worrying about an ambiguous email your boss sent 3 hours ago. You think you are analyzing the situation to find a solution, but in reality, you are being scammed. Society has taught us the lie that high IQ and constant thinking lead to success. But for the chronic overthinker, this intelligence has been hijacked by an ancient survival mechanism. Your smart brain has become a worry machine that has been scammed into thinking worry is a safety net. The disaster you are currently overthinking is rarely in your future. It is actually 20 years in your past. Here's the neuroscience of why you are still trying to solve a childhood problem in a late-night loop, and how we can stop blunting the knife of your intellect and start steadying the hand that holds it. Your brain isn't broken. It is doing this for a reason. Inside your head, the amygdala acts as a fire alarm, detecting threats in your environment and flooding your body with stress hormones. This was vital for early humans, avoiding predators, but it is a catastrophic misfire when your predator is a text message or a pending deadline. When you overthink, you are experiencing a biological betrayal, where your intelligence is used against you. You are caught in an endless movie of horrible possibilities that exhausts you mentally, produces physical anxiety, and prevents you from moving forward. The famous psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott once wrote that the catastrophe you fear will happen has, in fact, already happened. This is the paradox of the overthinking mind. The disaster we fear is often behind us, rooted in traumatic events from childhood that were never properly processed. Picture a child sitting at a dinner table. Something just went wrong. Maybe a glass spilled, maybe a grade wasn't good enough, maybe the room just went quiet in that way that means danger. The child's brain makes a decision in that moment. If I can think ahead far enough, I'll never be caught off guard again. That child grew up. That decision didn't. Because the amygdala has no sense of time, when these old wounds are triggered, your body feels as if the threat is happening right now. You are not just worrying about a job, you are reliving a moment of powerlessness from when you were 4 or 8 years old. You may be an adult who drives a car and has a career, but in the face of these concerns, you are resorting to a toolkit of childlike solutions because your nervous system is stuck in a pattern of protection rather than growth. To break this cycle, we must first turn our attention away from the inner world of negative thinking and toward the outer world of the present moment. You cannot think your way out of a feeling-based issue. You must connect with your body to turn down the volume. When the empty, freaked out sensation hits your stomach, practice the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Identify 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. This interrupts the overthinking loop and brings you back to the reality of the present, where you actually have control. Another powerful grounding technique is the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and exhale slowly for 8. This directly activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's natural de-stressing switch. These techniques work because every anxiety spiral follows a predictable pattern, and there are specific windows where it can be interrupted before it takes over. Download the free guide called The Anatomy of an Anxiety Spiral. It breaks down the 5 phases of the spiral and shows exactly where to intervene. Link in the description. Once the body is calm, we can address the mental word machine. The first step in changing your mind is noticing and naming the habit. When you catch the spiral, say out loud, "I am overthinking." This is called naming it to tame it. You're identifying that you are stuck in a loop that is unproductive. You must learn the difference between problem solving and overthinking. Problem solving is goal-oriented with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Overthinking is circular and focuses on the problem itself, not the resolution. To gain power over these thoughts, you must practice cognitive diffusion. This is the skill of looking at your thoughts instead of through them. Imagine your thoughts are like a pair of colored glasses. Most of the time, we don't notice the glasses. We just believe the world is the color of the lens. Diffusion is taking those glasses off and looking at them. Instead of saying, "I am a failure," say, "I am having the thought that I am a failure." This simple shift in language creates a sense of distance. You are the thinker, the place where thoughts happen, but you are not the thoughts themselves. You can even give your critical inner voice a name to remind yourself that this is just a jumble of words generated by a machine, not necessarily reality. Think of your mind like a ship. The captain is your logical, rational, conscious thought, but the crew is your subconscious, which handles your automatic responses and emotions. Your crew triggers anxiety when they believe something is too important to lose focus on. They are trying to find a strategy for your happiness and safety, but they are often using outdated maps from your past. Just because the crew is shouting doesn't make them the enemy. If you ignore them, they will only shout louder. The way to stop the shouting is to listen, acknowledge the message, and then gently return the captain to the wheel. Be kind to your crew. If you beat yourself up, you just end up beaten. If you build yourself up with affection and support, your crew will do their best work. To manage the energy of overthinking long-term, you must set boundaries with your own mind. Your brain loves worry because it secretly believes that worrying prevents bad things from happening, a form of magical thinking. To counter this, schedule a worry window. Give yourself 15 to 30 minutes each day to worry on purpose. Sit at a desk, not in bed, and write every catastrophe down on paper. When the timer goes off, step away. If a worry pops up later, tell your brain, "Thanks for the information. Let's discuss this at our 6 p.m. appointment." This teaches your brain that worry has a time limit and doesn't need to run all day. All of these tools, the grounding, the naming, the boundaries, they clear the runway, but at some point, the plane has to take off. The ultimate antidote to overthinking is action. We often use thought as a substitute for learning, but 1,000 hours of theory is not a substitute for 1 hour of gameplay. Your brain needs data sets to feel safe. If you want to be good at the game of life, you must be willing to lose your first 100 games as fast as you can. Action is the antidote to anxiety because it provides the brain with real-world results that prove you can handle the outcome. When you are stuck, ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do right now? This shifts you from abstract why questions, which lead to self-loathing, to concrete what questions that lead to skills. Overthinking is actually mismanaged creativity. You have a very sharp knife in your hand, and the sharper it is, the more you cut yourself. We don't need to blunt the knife, we just need to steady the hand. And now you know how.